bros. We're the problem. We're the Bernie bros. Not to mention the fact that more women support Bernie than any other candidate. Try again. There ain't no Bernie bros.
Don't even mention facts. These establishment Dems could care less about facts. I was locked with one. You know about it on Facebook. I was called a boomer. Okay,
boomer. Yeah.
A dishonest. Of course, a Bernie bro.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as any substantive exchange about the issues, like Biden lying on Social Security when it's on tape, they wouldn't touch it.
Oh, of course not.
About the so-called language expert that looked at Bernie's shoulders when he talked to Elizabeth there at the debate and concluded, without any argument, that he was lying. When I pointed out, why don't we look at some of the pictorial evidence of Biden all over 13-year-olds in the White House? It's on picture. Let's get a evaluation of that.
Yeah.
They just went ape and muted me, shut me off.
Yep.
They don't listen to facts. That's got nothing to do with it.
No. Well, they won't listen to the facts about Biden putting his hands on a CBS reporter just in the last day or so.
Tell me about that more. I didn't see it live. You told me today.
I showed you the video of it. I wish I could run the tape of it, but a reporter from CBS News, and I forget what his name is, was asking Biden about Bernie Sanders' apology because Biden's on tape saying at least 3 times that he'd cut Social Security benefits, and Bernie's called him out on it. And Biden's like, oh, that's unfair, that's unfair. So Bernie kind of apologized, but
only for calling him corrupt.
He said the rest of the facts are there. He did say it, and I've got video evidence of it.
In my book, the rest of the facts prove he's corrupt.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
See, this
reporter went after Biden and saying, well, why don't you accept Bernie's apology, and why don't you do this, why don't you do that? And Biden turned around and goes, why, and grabbed this reporter by the lapels of his suit. Really?
Well, he wanted to wrestle one of the debaters.
I told you this.
Or no, do a push-up contest. I'm sorry.
Well, I told you this. This is Biden's Howard Dean moment. This should be broadcast everywhere. This guy is a crackpot.
Oh,
he is mentally unstable, unfit to run for president.
But see,
period. End of story.
Dean was one of the assassinations that the establishment did against the progressive.
Yes, of course.
As tepid as he was as a progressive, I'm not going to argue that, but he was the progressive candidate. So his outburst was magnified 1,000 times by guess who? The establishment media.
Yep.
Now the establishment media, with the outburst from Biden, you won't see it. I guarantee you won't see it, you won't hear it.
No, you won't hear that or you won't see it. You will hear this, though.
Stop. Hammer time.
Oh, yeah. It's hammer time. It's time to drop the hammer on the douchebag of the week. We've got 2 winners this week, so every time we have 2 winners, we also got to play this clip.
The double douche.
The double douche.
Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wade Garrett.
The highlight of the show today.
Exactly right.
Double douche.
Yep. Winner number 1 wins 2 weeks in a row. Michigan State Senator Pete Lucido is now in really deep trouble. We reported on this last week in our douchebag segment where Lucido made sexist comments toward a reporter who was asking about his involvement in a now shuttered Facebook page where they were talking about raping and burning Gretchen Whitmer, Alyssa Slotkin, Rashida Tlaib. If you were female, you were Democrat, you were in their sights. Well, there's more. Crane's Detroit Business has this story. This is by Chad Livengood, dated January 21st. State Senator Peter Lucido faces a new workplace sexual harassment complaint 1 week after a Capitol reporter alleged he made a sexist remark to her, this time from one of his female colleagues in the Michigan Senate. Senator Mallory McMorrow said Tuesday that she filed a sexual harassment complaint against Lucido with the Senate Business Office over an incident that occurred 14 months ago during an orientation day for new senators 2 days after the November 2018 election. In an exclusive interview Monday with Cranes, McMorrow said Lucido made a remark suggesting she defeated an incumbent Republican senator based on her looks, while he held his hand on her lower back for an extended period of time that made her feel uncomfortable and made her feel unable to distance herself from Lucido. The 33-year-old McMorrow said she and Lucido were attending the orientation, and guess what it had to do with? Sexual harassment training.
How perfect.
In a committee hearing room in the Senate's office building in Lansing. During a break, McMorrow said she approached Lucido to introduce herself to the Shelby Township Republican, who was a sitting House member at the time. McMorrow, a Royal Oak Democrat, said, quote, "He shook my hand and with his other hand held my lower back with his fingers on my hips, effectively upper rear, and we had a back-and-forth conversation. And he asked where I was from. I said Royal Oak. He asked who I ran against, and I said I beat Marty Nolenberg, at which point he looked up and down, raised his eyebrows, and said, 'I can see why.'" End of quote.
Jeez.
This is a scumbag.
This is a slippery pig.
Yep. McMorrow said Lucido's scanning of her body and remark felt degrading and deflating. Quote, "It was shocking. It just knocked me off of my feet that was the first interaction. But you deal with it. You try to do your job." End of quote. And by the way, Lucido, who's 59, has denied the allegations against him, saying that they're completely untrue. In a early Tuesday morning text to Crane's Detroit Business, Lucido wrote this, quote, "I categorically deny this allegation, which I believe is completely untrue and politically motivated." End of quote. So now he's pulling the card out. This is a political hit job on me. No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
He stood in front of a bunch of boys from a Catholic school, De La Salle.
Yep.
Told the journalists that the boys could have fun with her.
Or she could have a lot of fun with them. Yeah,
I don't know
Alison Donahue, who, by the way, was interviewed by the British Broadcasting Company because of this.
See, the Republicans are now getting to the point where you can't believe your eyes.
Yeah.
They're having you doubt what you actually see and hear. They would like you to doubt. I'm not saying it's working. Yeah. But that's where they're at. They're just flagrantly, and Trump is the epitome of that.
Yeah. McMorrow, by the way, said that she regrets holding on to the story until just now, but after seeing the story that Alison Donahue wrote, she couldn't stay silent any longer. So,
when you
good for
see
her.
On national TV 15 minutes of an interview with a guy named Bush where Trump talks about bragging a woman's genitals and gets away with it and is elected.
Yep.
All of these scumbags like Lucido here were given a free pass.
Of course they were. Yeah, we tried to warn you about this years ago, folks.
Their hero scumbag can talk about using his power to get whatever sexual favors he wants. And these little guys say, I'm a senator. I can grab her by the hip. I can brag about sexual conquest. It goes on and on and on. That's the last taboo, and it's being removed from society.
By the way, during this sexual harassment training, Lucido supposedly stood up during the middle of this and basically said, "This is an all-boys club here in Lansing. You're never going to get rid of sexual harassment." These are remarks attributed to him.
It goes with the turf. They have that right now.
Now listen to this. I'm going a little bit further into the Crane's Detroit Business story here. It says, data on sexual harassment complaints in the legislature is hard to come by because individual complaints are exempt from the Freedom of Information Act. It is unclear if one legislator has ever accused another legislator of harassment before. By the way, the Associated Press reported in 2018 that the Michigan legislature disclosed that from 2000 to 2007, it had spent $269,000 on harassment complaints.
Almost
Isn't that just lovely?
And who paid it again? The backup senators, right?
The taxpayers paid it.
Yeah, but what's the group that takes care of the senators' back on this? Is their name?
No, it's the legislature.
See, I heard that they studied the Vatican's structure for getting rid of sexual complaints.
Which is?
Well, there's been more money taken from parishioners that pay off sex crimes by priests than any other expenditure.
Yeah.
Okay, now, folks, I'm just telling you. It's in the hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't know how many years. This biggest cost they've had. So you bow down You take a little trip to the holy water holder in the back, right? You get the whole ambiance with the organ and the colored windows. Oh, then you hand your money over so a priest can rape boys. Yep. And you don't see that's ass backwards. And your senators, listen, if it's not the priests, now it's the senators, have a fund, very similar in operation to the priest, that will pay to get them out of sexual lawsuits.
Guess where it comes from? Out of your taxes, folks. This is your tax money at work. You know,
how much could be done?
I have been told stories about all sorts of little sexual escapades in Lansing. If I had any proof to any of this stuff, I would put it on blast and I would end some careers.
Okay. I got a book that removes the possibility of it not being true. I've got two of them. And one of them deals with the Catholic sexual abuse for generations, eyewitnesses, testimony from court hearings.
I'm talking about state legislature.
I know, but I'm saying I've got two books. I've got one that deals with the Catholics and one that has history of sexual impropriety going back before Clinton. We know Clinton was involved. We just got through the Epstein thing where one of the royals would go down there frequently with Donald Trump, with Bill Clinton. How much proof do we need? His own family turned on him in England. It was that concrete of proof.
Yeah, they said you did. Well, even if there was no concrete proof, that just looks bad to the royal family, and they can't have anything that looks bad at them.
Have you seen the 2 rows of pictures of females who have charged rape against Donald Trump? Yeah, I think it's 14.
Yeah, they've accused him. Let me just clarify. He has not been charged in a court of law.
Yeah.
So
and then how many? Here's what you need to ask yourself, folks, in your heart: how long do you need to study to believe? How many books do you need to see? How many books written by the people out in Arkansas, by state policemen? One of the best I've ever read. A state policeman with empirical evidence that he would run chicks to Bill Clinton. I mean, I could go on and on. I could go on and on about legislatures, senators that are corrupt sexually.
Why do you think that the U.S. Congress no longer has a PAGE program? Right there's why. Bottom line.
It was stated as such, wasn't it?
Yes,
they couldn't
exactly. Because congressmen and senators couldn't keep their hands off the young pages.
So you got a 13-year-old next summer, ladies and gentlemen. You want to know, should I send him to a Catholic retreat camp? A. B, should I send him to a PAGE training in Washington, D.C., in light of the Capitol? Or should I send him to a rally for nudism? Which would be safer? Seriously. Or a training ground for future bartenders or bouncers?
We have a better option. Send your kids to protest. Protest all the things that are happening in this country, like hunger, like
the environment,
holding
like Greta Thunberg, who's 14, I think.
17 now.
17.
Yeah.
Have them join that group. Forget the Catholic weekend.
Yeah.
The camp. Don't go there.
It's ridiculous. Well, we also have another winner, and this week, Hillary Clinton is the second winner of Douchebag of the Week because nobody likes Bernie. Yeah. I want Hillary Clinton to shut up and go away forever. Leave. Yeah. We don't want to hear your mouth anymore.
Yep.
Just like we don't want to hear Trump's mouth anymore. We don't want to hear any more conservatives, whether they have a D or an R after their name.
We said right on this show when she was running in the primary, there hasn't been a more detested candidate in the Democratic Party history. That wasn't our opinion. We read source after source after source. So now she's just projecting onto Bernie that deep truth that's in her, I don't want to say soul. I'm not sure she's got one. But whatever.
I can tell you she doesn't. I'll use a Jim Cornette quote. This is how he described Dana Lash over at the NRA. A soulless ghoul.
Yeah, I'd go for that.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Here you have the months of poured out effort that Bernie poured into her campaign. Who knows how many people he convinced for Bernie's sake to vote for her?
Yeah, millions.
And she can actually think she can get away with that.
Let me just tell you some truths.
Even their own Democrats are turning. I mean, the people in the primary right now are saying she's way off base. Yang and a whole bunch of them.
Yang, Tulsi Gabbard, I love Bernie Sanders' little quip. On good days, my wife